Hello everyone, myself is Sanket Pavadia and today I am giving the uh, presentation on the topic Poetic Justice in Macbeth. When we listen the word Poetic Justice, we often have a question, who give this term Poetic Justice and how it is used in literature. All these questions we will discuss in the presentation. Let's start. This is my personal information. This is the table of contents. First we uh, introduction of Macbeth. Second is what is poetic justice. Then poetic justice in Macbeth. Then other example of poetic justice. Then conclusion and reference. Introduction of Macbeth. As we know, the Shakespeare wrote four great tragedy: uh, Hamlet, Macbeth, Othello, and King Lear. And Macbeth is one of them. Let's discuss the introduction of Macbeth. Uh, it is written in 1606 and published in 1623. In the play Macbeth, which begins with the prophecy and revolves around the Scottish general Macbeth, various themes are explored, such as ambitions, guilt, and fate, and how ambition leads to the downfall of Macbeth. This is the basic idea of the play Macbeth. Let's discuss the what is poetic justice. Uh, Thomas Raymer introduced the term poetic justice in his 1678 essay, The Tragedy of the Last Age Considered. He thought the story should good winning over evil. Rhyme wanted story to teach moral lesson with example of fairness. So here we know this Thomas Raymer gave the first introduced this term poetic justice in his essays, The Tragedy of the Last Age Considered. And he shows the good deeds are winning over evil, and bad deeds are punished. Poetic justice is a literary term describing a story in which good triumph over evil or bad deeds are punished, while good deeds are rewarded. As we know in the poetic justice, we see the good triumphs over evil and bad deeds are punished. We also see in the poetic justice. In literature, poetic justice will often have a happy ending with a moral lesson for the readers to learn. One thing is remember, poetic in the play, poetic justice used always end with a happy ending with some moral lessons. Let's discuss the poetic justice in Macbeth. We can find a poetic justice somewhere in the play Macbeth. First is Macbeth's ambition. Macbeth's ambitions is a Macbeth murders King Duncan to fulfill his ambitions, instigated by Lady Macbeth and the witch's prophecy. His subsequent tyranny leads to widespread chaos in Scotland. He faces retribution when Macduff, seeking revenge for his family's murder, kill him, symbolizing justice for Macbeth, moral corruption and crimes. So, as we know in the play Macbeth, Macbeth first killed King Duncan by his ambition and instigated by Lady Macbeth. And at the end of the play, we know the Macbeth's downfall by his ambitions, and Macbeth get uh, death by his Macduff is killed Macbeth. Here we see the punishment, and here we see the poetic justice. Second is Lady Macbeth's guilt and death. Lady Macbeth, who manipulates Macbeth into murdering Duncan, is consumed by guilt. This leads to her sleepwalking and hallucinating blood on her hand, symbolizing her unshakable remorse. Her suicide reflects poetic justice for her role in Duncan's murder. As we know, in the play Macbeth, Lady Macbeth push Macbeth to kill Duncan, and after she realizes own guilt, and she get punishment as a sleepwalking hallucination, and after she suicide. So here we see the poetic justice. Third is restoration of order. So in this point, the restoration of order at the end of the Macbeth demonstrate poetic justice as Malcolm, Duncan's rightful heir, ascend to the throne. This moment symbolizing the triumph over virtue over vice and the re-establishment of the natural and moral order disturbed by Macbeth's prejudice and tyranny. Macbeth, who usurped the throne through murder and deceit, faces his deserved downfall at the hands of Macbeth. A symbol of justice, Malcolm crowning is not only a political resolution but also a moral one. Here we also see the poetic justice when Macbeth killed King Duncan and he became the king. And then, but the rightful heir is Duncan's son is Malcolm, but Macbeth. Macbeth become king. So at the end of the play, we know the bad deeds give punishment and good deeds get rewarded, and Malcolm become the king. So here we also see the poetic justice. Other example of poetic justice in literature, we find lots of example of poetic justice. Here I put three example of poetic justice in the Oedipus Rex by Sophocles. Oedipus Rex is a most famous tragedy by Sophocles. In this uh, in this tragic play, we know the Oedipus in the play we see the Oedipus fulfill the prophecy, and he killed his own father Lucet, and he marries his mother, but when he realized the truth, he give on punishment as a blind. So here we get on bad deeds punishment, and here we can say the poetic justice also see in this play. Odyssey by Homer. In this work, we see the poetic justice when Odysseus come home, and then he see the his wife Penelope, and Penelope dishonored by some suitors, and some suitors dishonored by and and dominating his Odysseus home. So then Odysseus come home, and he he give punishment as a death with the help of his son and some loyal servant to kill some suitors. So here some suitors bad deeds get punishment, and his wife get rewarded as. So here we also see the poetic justice. Last one is King Lear by William Shakespeare. uh, in this play, we see the poetic justice when in this play we know the three sisters, Regan, Cordelia, and Goneril, and his father King Lear. So when King Lear distributed own kingdom toward three daughters, Regan and Goneril betray his father, and Cordelia was loyal. So then after the play, the uh, Goneril gave a poison to Regan, and Regan stabbed by herself. So first of all, both sister betray his father. After end of the play, we see the punishment some kind of punishment towards sisters. So here we get here we know the poetic justice in the play. Conclusion. In conclusion, Macbeth shows the poetic justice where the bad things character do leads toward their own punishment. Macbeth's bad choices bring his downfall, and in the end of justice is served. The play teaches us that people who do wrong will eventually face the consequence. In this presentation, we know the how the and how the evolution of evolved the word poetic justice, and who introduced this term, and other example of poetic justice. Here is my references. Thank